and it looked like Chennedy Carter has finally broken her silence about this Caitlin Clark situation. Chennedy Carter just jumped out the window and justified an assault on Caitlin Clark.
Only a few weeks remain until the WNBA season begins, and all of the top free agents have guaranteed their positions. Chennedy Carter is the exception. Chennedy Carter is the same person that made headlines in June of last year for her notorious shoulder check against Caitlin Clark. As the season draws near, fans anxiously await her arrival.
Break down that situation that happened.
Yeah. So, in basketball a little bit, there's things called talking, what you like to call smack or whatever everybody likes to call it.
Yeah.
Plays before things are said, you know, that's a part of basketball.
As Caitlin Clark, Chennedy Carter is making an effort to explain Caitlin Clark's activities on many streaming platforms as she prepares for her sophomore season, which is seeing a spike in popularity. She maintains that her well-known shoulder check was only a tap throughout the game. WNBA teams, however, don't appear to be convinced. Is this an unjust example of how players should handle dealings with the league's up-and-coming superstar? Or is it karma? Let's examine this scenario's intricacies in more detail. If you're a fan of Caitlin Clark, please subscribe to our channel and leave a 100% CC remark below.
You know, Chennedy Carter has always been kind of up against the fence when speaking about this Caitlin Clark situation. We remember when she first got asked about this during a press conference, she stated that she wasn't going to speak on Caitlin Clark. Now, we know months later, she still hasn't spoken on the whole situation. That is until today. Yes, Chennedy Carter finally broken her silence about the Caitlin Clark hip check.
Remember when Chennedy Carter purposefully struck Caitlin Clark in June of last year? What was supposed to be a typical regular season game between the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever turned into the incident that would define Carter's career. It was a major turning moment in her life.
And Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter.
Let's examine the incident in detail. Chennedy Carter abruptly crossed the court after making a basket, clearly aiming for the unwary Caitlin Clark rather than rejoining the defense. Her trajectory had no valid basketball justification. Carter is shown in the clip speaking a few selected words, looking directly at Clark, and then giving the rookie a hard shoulder check that sent him to the ground. Everyone seeing could clearly see that this touch was intentional, emphasizing the seriousness of the situation and its ramifications.
So she was signed to the Chicago Sky with Teresa Weatherspoon, with Angel Reese, with Camila Cardoso, and, you know, the rest of the folks. And then we get to the body check. This was originally ruled an away from the ball foul, but it was obviously a flagrant foul. It really upset a lot of people, which really escalated the issue. And it was really just poor sportsmanship on Kennedy's.
The incident was first categorized by officials as a common foul, a call that is frequently made during games, but they quickly changed it to a flagrant foul after seeing the video. This is especially telling. The replays demonstrated that this was a purposeful off-ball hit that was performed following a basketball play. It was not accidental contact during play. The act's nature was obvious, and it deserved a more severe punishment. One thing is driving Caitlin Clark and
it's one thing pushing Caitlin Clark, and it's another thing blindsiding her. Like, I don't think there's no justification for that. Like, to be honest, we can be honest here.
A lot about Clark's personality may be inferred from her response. She was taken by surprise and knocked down, but she got back up without complaining, picked herself up, and concentrated on the next play. There was only a committed athlete returning to work, with no showmanship or reprisals. On the other hand, spectators and analysts voiced their indignation, admitting that what they had seen was not basketball, but rather a deliberate attempt to threaten or hurt another player.
Now, what little girl wants to grow up and play in a league where you're targeted like that? How do you sit here and profess and demand that everyone take women's sports seriously when you can't even take it seriously enough to not act like a junior high queen on the court? It's stupid. That's so dumb. It looks like a soap opera.
Carter had already been across Kerner disputes. After the Clark incident, her history of instability became a hot topic of conversation. She received an indefinite suspension from the Atlanta Dream in 2021 for behavior the team considered harmful to the team, which resulted from a heated dispute that went beyond reasonable bounds. Her professionalism and capacity to work well in a team setting had already been questioned due to this persistent pattern of behavior. These instances have raised concerns about her dedication to the team and general sportsmanship.
Atlanta Dream did suspend her in the middle of the sophomore season, basically saying she was a detriment to the team and the team culture. So then the Atlanta Dream decided to trade her to the Sparks, the Los Angeles.
For Carter, the timing couldn't have been more bad. Because to Clark's influence, the WNBA is experiencing unheard-before growth, shattering attendance and viewership records. It makes sense that the league is eager to maintain this momentum, emphasizing professionalism to draw in general attention. In this regard, the Sky Forward's conduct stood in stark contrast to the good image the league is working to foster, underscoring the possible dangers of individual behavior in the face of group advancement.
What's crazy about all of this, immediately after that push, this is what she said to the media.
And on the play before bumping in with Caitlin, it seemed like she turned to you a little bit after the fever
I
score.
didn't answer no Caitlin Clark questions.
Did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
Carter later attempted to explain away what millions of people saw firsthand, but the consequences were indisputable. There was more to the shoulder check than just a straightforward infraction. It was a turning point in her career, turning her from a player with a ton of potential to one whom organizations now steer clear of. She is now prepared to discuss this occurrence. We'll explore her viewpoint soon. Although basketball is a physically demanding and competitive sport by nature, there are unwritten norms that separate aggressive play from needless aggression. Carter's behavior not only went beyond that bound, but did so in a significant way. The WNBA's coordinated response demonstrates the league's dedication to putting player safety first and upholding its brand. Stay tuned for a more thorough examination of this dispute.
I said Chennedy Carter wasn't going to make a WNBA roster. And as it sits, April 20th, training camps start for teams in 7 days. Training camp for a majority of the WNBA start April the 27th. Chennedy Carter is not on any WNBA roster. Want to know why? Because it's Chennedy Carter's fault she's not on any WNBA roster.
Carter's job is in danger since she has exceeded unwritten limits, leaving it in a precarious position. She is in a race against time to change her story because training camp is quickly approaching and her contract has not yet been signed. She recently took part in an interview with streamer Neon in which she discussed her goals and challenges. Basketball enthusiasts are shocked by her open discussion and worried about her future in the game.
I think a play before, maybe I was elbowed. Okay, that happens. Think the next play down, maybe something was said. And then maybe there was like a little clip of somebody like yelling in my face. And then we go down the court. Then I hit like a little bucket, you feel me? Come down, hit like a little nice little mid-range pull up. And then I just like, just give her like a little like, I'm here. Like, I don't think it was, what's crazy? Me and my brother went back and watched, and we seen a lot of clips in the NBA of guys getting like pushing LeBron. Like, I think it was Jeff Teague or somebody who like pushed LeBron out of bounds, like said, man, I was mad because like we couldn't stop him.
It is quite impressive that Carter tried to minimize an event that millions of people saw. She nonchalantly described the deliberate shoulder check as trash talk and a means of giving Clark some "I'm here" energy during her interview. The striking difference between this casual description and the powerful blow that sent Clark to the ground is what really sticks out. There is no denying the footage. That degree of touch was not trivial nor typical, emphasizing the physicality of the situation.
She did. She stopped and went through. That is not... We watched the clip. There is no way that we're letting this happen. Saying that it was nothing. This is not just a tap.
Carter recently claimed that she might have been elbowed before the incident, which further highlights her desire to change the past. Video evidence has completely refuted this conveniently new, previously unreported fact. Even casual observers would find her late justification improbable and unpersuasive, given the video's complete lack of provocation. Her account is further called into question by this inconsistency.
So I'm just like, it's like one of those things, like, it happens in basketball. I know people try to say, oh, it's not one of those things.
It's not a personal thing, it's a competitive thing.
It happens in basketball, and like, it's one of those things. But like, yeah, it's kind of what happened, then it spiraled out of control.
And then the media takes whatever narrative they want to
so
put
you
out.
watch every single game to see if you can find any deflects in my game, and like, really nothing that you probably could say too much about. So then you have trolls, and that's what I said. They're gonna be around regardless. But yeah, it was just like a nice little like tap, like I'm here, not to like harm you or anything. You know, if you want to push somebody, you're gonna like full.
Social media responded swiftly to the apparent attempt at damage control, with one fan's comment capturing the general incredulity. "You guys really don't think she's real, do you?" This response wasn't unique. Basketball communities on different platforms shared a similar lack of trust, interpreting her remarks as a last-ditch effort to repair her reputation. Fans' overwhelming skepticism reveals a larger dissatisfaction with her story, indicating a strong reaction to what they consider to be insincerity.
This is crazy, and this changes everything, because all this time we've been waiting on Chennedy Carter to take responsibility for what she did to Caitlin Clark. It shows me, I ain't even got to watch all this footage right here, but I am going to look at it. But it's showing me right now that she still is not taking responsibility for her actions. She's finna blame this whole situation on Caitlin Clark supposedly talking smack to her.
This revelation's timing is glaringly obvious. This interview seems more like a last-minute PR ploy than an attempt to clarify the matter, as the 2025 training camp draws near and Carter is still unsigned. After keeping quiet about the incident for months, Carter feels compelled to express her opinion, right while the teams are completing their rosters. This relationship is extremely obvious, indicating that her goals might be self-serving rather than the result of sincere introspection.
I mean, that happens, man. Like, it's one of those things. I'm a great player, she's a great player. It looks a certain way. Everybody's gonna have their views on it. But my personal view is, you know, I don't have anything against her. She's a great player, and so am I. And I've got buckets all that season, you know what I'm saying? So, just one of those things that, I love it though. They think I hate it, I love it. I love when it gets riled up and juicy like that.
You feed off of like what people say and shit, and it makes you more motivated.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Oh yeah, I love the hate. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Her remarkable reversal of Clark's talents is among the most significant features of Carter's rehabilitation attempts. In the past, she dismissed Clark's contributions beyond her three-point shooting, but now, for some reason, her tone is changed to one of admiration as Carter praises the Fever star as a fantastic player and even compares him to LeBron James. This abrupt shift in tone suggests less of a genuine metamorphosis and more of a calculated tactic to avoid taking full responsibility for her prior remarks and deeds, while projecting an air of rationality and regret.
This is a bad look, bro. This is her pretty much begging for a team to pick her up. Oh, it's just part of basketball. That's not part of basketball, bro. What you did to Caitlin Clark, you can't justify that assault.
Basketball experts have pointed out how Carter's statement essentially misrepresents the character of physicality in the game. Her actions weren't just unsportsmanlike. According to one commentator, they directly threaten the league's top player and its future. The deliberate targeting of another player after the whistle and competitive physical play are clearly different. Carter is unaware that the problem stems from her continued refusal to accept true culpability, which goes beyond the act itself. She exacerbates the issues that have prevented teams from offering her a contract by downplaying the gravity of her acts and inventing provocations. This lack of understanding is endangering her chances of landing a job. Chennedy
Carter just jumped out the window and justified an assault on Caitlin Clark.
Instead of having the desired effect, the interview has had the opposite effect. Instead of improving her reputation, it has just strengthened the idea that Carter lacks accountability and might not be a reliable partner. Carter's talent has never been a weakness. She has continuously shown that she is capable of scoring at the highest levels. However, When serious issues regarding character and team relations surface, talent alone is insufficient. Basketball is essentially a trust-based team sport, so when a player purposefully targets a well-known opponent with a non-basketball play and then neglects to accept responsibility,